Ascension pioneers. Well, finally another video in nature. I guess that took a while. Anyway, yesterday I already recorded this video, but in my history of all the videos I have out there, this was the first video that for some reason it didn't record well, so I guess it wasn't divine timing for me to put it on. You know, we all have to listen to ourselves when such things happen. I wanted to make a video that was focused around portals and stargates, which I already promised, but with an emphasis not just on that, but on higher understanding why for some reasons, you know, sometimes we want to understand things when it's maybe not even time for us to understand that, or, you know, to view it from a certain perspective that is not yet to be integrated within our awareness. So before, you know, putting some thought into that and sharing some of my own guidance, I would like to read a short paragraph from this book, Earth Awakens, from Salvador Kelly, which I already mentioned, and I shared a link with the title so you can see it on my previous video. And I want to make a short reading now. So, before we begin our story, we know some of you need further clarification on the meaning of portals and stargates. You have perhaps been given some examples in your science fiction books, you all know that, movies and television shows. The concept of wormhole, used often in both science and science fiction, is a good place to start our explanation. Let us add to that the idea of a quantum jump or sudden shift from one level of perception to another. A simple example of this would be coming out of a cloud bank in a jet aircraft that is ascending in altitude. At the moment the plane breaks the top of the cloud deck, the world changes radically from one of dark gray and almost no visibility to one of bright blue skies with nearly infinite visibility. Like, for example, here before we had the sun, and then the cloud came and the whole vista changed. And I know you can sometimes feel that way when there's cloudy weather and when there's sunny weather. So think of it in that analogy. So the words portal and stargate are used interchangeably here, but in previous material they were differentiated slightly. A portal, you have to listen carefully to this part because this is the part that is really important. So a portal is a wormhole or tunnel between two relatively localized levels of reality, while a stargate is a similar construct occurring more on a macro scale. So we're comparing different levels of viewing, like different cycles, you know, so I will explain this later further on. The black hole is at the center of many galaxies and is a type of stargate because it tunnels into a corresponding white hole that resides at the center of a parallel mirror galaxy in a parallel mirror universe. As mentioned in previous writings, the phenomenon of black holes is one of the hardest ideas for your modern scientists to grapple with because such objects appear to violate the law of conservation of energy. And I guess many of you know this basic principle, which we were also studying in schools, you know, that the energy never loses itself, it just changes in form. So this is one of the most basic laws in the universe. When you consider that the black holes at the center of your galaxies tunnel through into white holes at the center of sister galaxies in a sister universe, you can also call it a twin universe, a twin galaxy, that exactly mirrors your own but with opposite polarities not only electromagnetically but gravitationally and with respect to time and space, then all of a sudden things become clear. The law of conservation is restored, and with a little advanced mathematics, a theory of everything, linking all the basic forces together, can be derived. In later chapter, we have given a partial explanation of how all the basic forces of physics are related. That was just a brief explanation. So portals and stargates can be considered to be doorways between levels, planes, dimensions, worlds, or regions of the universe. If a further explanation is needed when discussing a specific realm, we will give the necessary details at that time. Keep in mind that we are aware that most of you are not physicists and will not understand rigorous mathematics, so we will do our best to explain our ideas in lay terms. So my whole point on this was exactly what is stated here. You know, we can only understand as much as we are open to understanding. I oftentimes speak or write a lot about different principles of creation, but what I really like to focus on is that we can only understand them as much as we understand the self. So every understanding of every single particle and fabric of reality needs to be felt through us. For example, when I was reading here about the black holes, I was thinking in terms of our heart center, which we usually refer to as the localized area where we here in this reality are merging the spirit, you know, at the above, which is just a concept anyway, and the below, which is the matter. So in heart we merge the two. So here is a very good explanation, and I like to give an explanation with what I share through my video and article about the nature of infinity symbol. You know, the source dot in between is what you could refer to as black hole analogy. And when you look at this reality, as I said, you know, you look at different layers, different fabrics of creation. Like I said, the infinity symbol can have many of these cycles of creation. So it depends on how micro, how macro level you view it at. So if you look at this reality, and you can say and see that the heart is basically our black hole. So in the heart, there is this understanding where both merge into one. So if scientists are banging, you know, their heads and trying to understand this with a mental approach, why they cannot understand it is because they don't see the missing link. They don't see the parallel nature of the everything, you know, the entire creation, not just the universe, because every aspect of creation is as macro as you want to go. So as deep as you go, you know, the same depth you go into, because everything is always as within so without, the same level of expansion you also go outwards. You know, this is something that you can only understand when you really go into your heart, because the heart connects all the dots. So many are missing, really, those missing links, so to say. And if you really don't go, I mean, don't come into that space through your own awareness, the link will keep missing. Because you know what happens in our lives when sometimes you're just looking for something and you can't find it, because obviously you're looking at the wrong place. You know, there is no such thing as a wrong place, but the answer is not there. So many times I share about these things, and what I come to see is that people tend to think that certain things are opinions. And we were just discussing this today, and we will probably together one day make a video about this, because it's a very interesting topic, why we do that. Why we just can't, you know, when I stated about the, in my recent article about the universe, and that it's not true that we here in this reality create the universe, but we create our experience of the universe and the entire creation in general. And I had this great reply when someone said, yes, you know, it's like trying to get to the 12th grade instead of just being happy and present in where we are now. And this is what's happening. And I noticed this as a very huge phenomenon in our world. I mean, it's like everybody wants to be somewhere instead of just understanding that there is no opinions when you're in your heart. So if scientists in this example would be seeking something and trying to do different research papers on so many things, and you can say these are opinions, but to them they're truth from something that they have derived from, you know, from their state of research. But research is usually, if it's not so much independent and coming from the heart, is usually the mental part of the equation, which is also a part of the link. But in order for us to fully grasp the entirety, you know, the both sides of the infinity symbol nature, so our lives also, because we're also within that infinity symbol, because everything that exists is a part of the creation principles. These are divine principles that exist everywhere in the entire beingness, in all the existence. So what I notice is that so many try to view certain things as opinions. Like if I would read this book, this was one example, we talked about this today, and I would read certain truths that really resonate, but my mind would say, well, I didn't get this on my own, so this is probably just an opinion. But my heart would know that this is nothing in comparison with opinion, because in fact, certain truths are just truths as to how everything functions in different realities and existences. So what we need to do is we need to come back here in the grounded reality where we are now and start thinking how things function here, because we cannot be masters of I don't know what kind of realm if we are not mastering here things on earth. So if you are the one who is really interested in such topics, like, you know, that many also, I think, series and movies provide, like, I don't know, Star Wars movies and Stargate series or everything like that, I think you should go into those things with the heart, because many of such movies have a lot of truth in them, but it's like in the details. It's not, I mean, in hidden things that are very subtle sometimes. Some things will be maybe seeming more like airy-fairy, because sometimes I think even the things want to be presented to us in a way that we would just say, it's just too good to be true, it's just pure fantasy, and sometimes it's not. But we really have to see with the heart, because the heart is the missing link. The heart is the black hole that is connecting everything, and with that missing link you can actually see the totality, so both sides of the symbol. Because when you understand these basic principles, you will start understanding things in your own life. And that is how you will start to understanding how everything around you also is. And you won't be seeking opinions. And like I said today, when I think I was replying to something, I said that basically, when you are a master, you no longer seek questions. You don't need them. You just know. So these are subtle but very quite obvious differences, between fact, between principles and opinions. So we will be sharing more about such profound topics. But for now, I think this is it. And well, in addition to stargates and portals, I also think I want to say something else. We all are a portal as well. We're actually a living life force energy. So I have stated this before, and many of you know about this. We each are actually a toroidal field. We have it around us, and it's not just us. It's everything in nature, everything in creation has this structure. So it's the basic elemental energy around everyone. So either if it's activated or partially activated, that's not important, because on your source level you are, and you have that ability to activate this now, so as you're increasing your awareness, and when we're already becoming aware of this, we're already activating our own portal. So like I said before, without understanding the self, capital S, without understanding your own operationability, or how to say that, you can't just understand everything else and how it works. So it always goes from the most micro to the most macro, and it's always in reciprocity, of course, as well. So what we need to really see is that we are always linked to everything that is with our own and through our own portal. So if we talk about the levels of micro and macro, you could say that your own portal is, for instance, inviting all the other energies that come through a more larger portal. Like for instance, we have many portals that are opening now on Earth, and you say every pyramid with its structure is a portal in its own, and then you say every certain alignment is a portal. You would say the precession was a certain portal, and it invited certain energies through through certain alignments, and you through your portal, you invited them as well, or you didn't invite them. It doesn't matter here. But the point here is that everything goes through our own beingness. So the portal, you can see it like shifting in density. You're shifting from a certain density through this portal, which just shifts you, just better triggers you. You enter into another realm of your density. But a stargate is something that I feel more of a nature of something in a grander scope, like shifting from this realm here, to being somewhere, I don't know, in Arcturus, in this other realm of experiencing. And there are many such stargates. But sometimes I feel people too much occupy themselves with thinking about these things. It's good to be aware of them, and it's good to understand the difference between these things. And they're not just concepts. They're how universes are structured. It's how certain beings who have went so far in development have discovered how to time travel, or travel through time and space, which is not always what we see in movies. It just has a certain note of truth in it. But the grander truth becomes apparent when it really comes to us, when we start understanding this, how it works. So even in what I was already saying about your own Merkaba field and your toroidal field, which is basically your source field, your source life force energy, how you're structured. And first we need to understand that. And it comes through awareness, like everything else. So we might read a lot of the books about this, and especially all those science freaks. But it's not so much about that. I feel it's more about seeing the difference first in the basic things. Like for instance, the basic understanding what is density and what is the realm of experience. For instance, I am experiencing the realm of Earth now, which is, Earth is at a certain density, but my density is, at a certain other level, it might be. But the whole collective builds a realm, so I'm experiencing a certain realm, or dimension, so to say. But my own personal body has its own density. So we first need to understand these basic concepts, and then we can start moving on and understanding more complex things. But in fact, even those complex things, you only perceive them as complex because you don't have the whole high understanding yet, because when you come to the degree when you're able to understand them, it will seem very simple to you. Whenever we get things that come through our own inner knowing, they're simple, because in fact, when truth is really truth, untainted, non-manipulated, just pure source truth, is always simple. So I think that was the whole concept and the main message that I wanted to give through this video. And now I would really like to just go and enjoy my nature, and I'm really cold, so I'll talk to you soon. And so much love to all of you out there.